Hi guys, I am Samandar Singh from Department of Mechanical Engineering, Arya College of Engineering and Information Technology, Kukas, Jaipur. Today's topic is thermodynamic cycle of gas turbine engine. This is third lecture on this topic. In first lecture we discuss on the ramjet engine, pulse jet engine. In second lecture we discuss the turbojet engine. Now in this lecture we discuss the turboprop engine. The turboprop engine consists of a diffuser, compressor, combustion chamber, nozzle and extra propeller with the reduction gear. The extra component is propeller with the reduction gear. That is the important part of this turboprop engine. A turboprop engine differs from the turbojet engine as it uses a propeller to increase the mass flow. This is done because higher thrust per unit mass flow of the fuel can be obtained by increasing the mass flow of the air, which also results in better fuel economy. The turboprop system commonly used in aircraft. In this system, the gas is partly expanded in the turbine and partly in the nozzle. The power developed by the turbine is equal to the power required to run the compressor and the propeller. Nearly the 80% of the total expansion takes place in the turbine section and 20% remaining 20% is in the nozzle section. The forward motion to the aircraft is partly given by the jet reaction and partly by the propeller. Out of total thrust produced to the aircraft is 80% is by the propeller and the remaining 20% by the jet. As 80% of total energy generated in the turbine is used to run the compressor and the propeller. Therefore, the very less energy is left in the gases coming out of the turbine, that is 20%, which is further used for producing the thrust passing through the nozzle. The gas turbine speed being very high, a reduction gear is used to run the propeller. Now thermodynamic cycle of the engine. The process 1 to 2, that is represented the compression in the diffuser. Process 2 to 3 represent the compression in the compressor. Process 3 to 4 is the combustion at the constant pressure. Process 4 to 5 is represent the expansion in the turbine, which is higher than the expansion respectively by the 4 take place into the turbojet engine. The turbine which is higher than the expansion, and the relation 4 to 5 process is greater than the U4A, and HT4 minus HT5 is greater than again HTU minus HTA. This is essential to run the compressor and propeller in case of the turboprop system. Now process 5 to 6 represented the expansion in the nozzle of the turboprop engine. Now the total thrust developed by the turboprop engine given by Ft, that is equal to the nozzle thrust plus propeller thrust. Ft equal to m into A into Ve minus Vi. V is the exit velocity and I is the initial net velocity, plus ma into Vi into fuel mass in neglected. Now Ft equal to ma into root of 2g into delta H nozzle into efficiency of nozzle minus Vi plus ma into delta Ht into neta It into neta dr. Now Ft equal to ma into root of 2g delta h nozzle into neta n minus vi plus delta h turbo into neta it into neta tr. Where is the delta h? That is the nozzle sts minus stp. Delta h nozzle is the enthalpy drop in the nozzle. Delta turbo, that is enthalpy drop in the turbine. Delta n nozzle efficiency. Delta it turbine efficiency. Delta tr transmission efficiency of the propeller and gear. M is the mass flow rate of the air. The power developed by the turbine is given by the PT, that is total power, PC plus PP. PC is the power given to the compressor and PP is the power given to the propeller. Now, so the PP equal to PT minus PC or PP equal to MA plus MF into HT4 minus HT5 minus MA into HT3 minus HT2. Now, considering the transmission efficiency to the gear neta tr and the propeller efficiency neta p, the above equation is given as the pp equal to the np into ntr into ma into 1 plus f into ht4 minus ht5 minus of ht3 minus ht2. Now, before starting the specific thrust, we have to just introduce the performance of the turboprop engine. The turbo engine combines the merits of turbojet and the propeller. At high altitude, the propeller has to do more work, therefore jet engine works better at high altitude and require less power compared with propeller at speed between the 500 to 700 km per hour. The efficiency of turboprop engine is higher, therefore turboprop engine are preferred for civil purpose. The power developed by the turboprop engine remains the almost same at high altitude and high speed as that under sea level, and the takeoff also increases. The thrust developed is the high at takeoff and reduced at increased speed. The specific fuel consumption increases with the increase in speed and the altitude also. Now, the specific thrust. The specific thrust is given by Fs, that thrust per unit mass flow rate of air, that is F upon ma, that equal to 1 plus F into Ve minus Vi equal to Ve into 1 plus F minus Vi upon Ve. E for exit and I for initial or inlet. And that is Fs equal to Ve into 1 plus F minus K. K is the constant, that is equal to the Vi upon Ve. The specific thrust is a criteria of the size of the engine required for producing the required thrust. From the above equation, it is obvious that for the large specific thrust, the velocity ratio K should be kept small as possible. It is clear that as the flight speed Vi increases, the Fs also increases from the above relations. If the flight speed Vi is 0, then Fs equal to Ve into 1 plus F. This is important because it is specific thrust at the intake off, that is takeoff condition of the jet engine or aircraft. The effective jet speed should be as large as possible. This is given by Ve equal to root of 2 into delta H nozzle, or V equal to root of 2 Cp delta T nozzle, delta H equal to Cp into delta T. Now the efficiency of the turbojet engine. First, the inlet diffuser or ram efficiency. In all the jet propulsion system except the turboprop and rocket engine, the diffuser is used to convert the part of the incoming kinetic energy of the air into static pressure rise. This process of increasing the pressure is similar to ram action. This pressure rise can be considered as a compression process, essentially isentropic, but it differs from the isentropic because of the internal friction. Therefore, this is taken into account by the term ram efficiency, and the ramming also increases the pressure suddenly. This is defined as the ratio of the increase in the pressure considering isentropic compressor to the actual increase in the pressure. By the TH diagram, we can see that the actual and theoretical is the by dash process. 0 1 dash is the theoretical, actual is the 0 1. The formula can be written as the neta ram equal to PT1 minus PA upon PT1 dash minus PA equal to, by dividing the PA we can get PT1 upon PA minus 1 upon PT1 dash upon PA minus 1. Now PT1 dash upon PA equal to the TT1 dash upon TA की power R upon R minus 1. That is the PT relationship. Now PT1 dash upon PA equal to 1 plus VI square upon 2 CP into TA की power R upon R minus 1. That is PT1 dash equal to PA into 1 plus VI square upon 2 CP TA की power R upon R minus 1. Now T1 dash equal to TA plus V1 square upon 2 CP. PT1 minus PA equal to neta ram equal to PT1 dash minus PA equal to neta ram into PA into 1 plus VI square upon 2 CP into TA की power R upon R minus 1 minus PA. Now PT1 minus PA equal to, by taking the common PA into 1 plus neta ram into 1 plus VI square upon 2 CP into TA की power R upon R minus 1 minus I or minus 1. With well designed diffuser at subsonic speed, the ram efficiency can be obtained in the range of 85% to 90%. The equation has one major disadvantage because the value of PT1 minus PA may become negative value at low flight speed because of the pressure drop in the inlet duct. Now the second is thermal efficiency of the turboprop engine. It is defined as the ratio of neta TH equal to the propulsive power upon heat supplied, where the PT propulsive power equal to half of the MA plus MF into VE square minus MA into VI square. M is the mass of the air, mass flow rate, or MF is the mass of the fuel. That is PT equal to 1 by 2 MA into VE square minus VI square into, if MF is neglected as compared to the mass flow rate of the air, then it is become PT equal to half of VE square minus VI square per kg of the air. And QS, that heat supplied equal to the F into C into V, where F is the fuel supplied per kg of the air, CV is the calorific value of the fuel. Now the efficiency, thermal efficiency, neta TH equal to half of VE square into 1 minus K square upon F into CV, where K equal to VI upon VE. That is neta thermal equal to VE square into 1 minus K square upon 2 FCV. Now QS, heat supplied equal to FCV neta compression, that is equal to HT3 minus HT2. Therefore QS equal to, and FCV, that is equal to H3 minus H2S upon neta compression. Neta TH equal to thermal efficiency equal to neta compression VE square into 1 minus K square upon 2 into HT3 minus HT2 T2, that is equal to neta VE square 1 minus K square upon 2 Cp T2 minus T3 minus T2. The thermal efficiency becomes 0 when, from the above relation, K equal to Vi upon Ve equal to 1, that is Vj equal to Ve, Vi equal to Ve. The meaning of this is the engine does not develop any thrust and energy. That is fuel is not added to the fluid flowing through the engine. On the other hand, when K equal to Vi upon V equal to 0, that is Vi equal to 0, and the thermal efficiency of the engine wholly depend on the value, this analysis is applied to turbojet, ramjet, pulse jet only, and cannot be applied to propeller and rocket engines. In case of propulsive efficiencies, the specific fuel consumption is measured on the basis of thrust instead of the power. Therefore, thrust per specific fuel consumption, that is equal to 3600 into mf upon f, that is kg per Newton into hour, where the mf is the in kg per second, or equal to, we can say that T SFC equal to 3600 into mf upon ma into ma upon fs into ma, where fs equal to f upon ma is known as the specific thrust Newton per kg of air. T SFC equal to f into 3600 upon fs. Similarly, SFC on the thrust power basis, TP SFC is given by TP SFC equal to 3600 into F upon TP into S. The effect of the air speed on the thrust power T SFC, and the with an increase in the flight speed, the cycle efficiency remains relatively constant, whereas the propulsion efficiency increases. Therefore, it is expected that FSC falls with flight speed. The relation is given as TFSC equal to specific fuel consumption per unit thrust, and TPSFC equal to specific fuel consumption per unit thrust power. Now, third is the propulsive efficiency. The effective work by the system is F into Vi, which is known as a thrust power. The kinetic energy imparted to the fluid in the is the difference in the kinetic energy at the exit and kinetic energy at the inlet, and this is known as propulsive power. The difference between the propulsive power and thrust power is leading loss. That is kinetic energy of the air at inlet equal to ma into Vi square upon 2, and the kinetic energy of the gases at exit equal to ma plus mf into Ve square upon 2. The propulsive power equal to ma into 1 plus f into Ve square upon 2 minus ma Vi square upon 2, that is equal to, by taking ma common, ma into 1 plus f into Ve square upon 2 minus Vi square upon 2, and the thrust power equal to F into Vi, that is equal to ma into 1 plus f into Ve minus Vi into Vi. Now, the propulsive efficiency neta P is given by thrust power upon the propulsive power. That is, by simple mathematical relation we can get Np equal to 2 Ve minus Vi into Vi upon Ve square minus Vi square. If f is neglected, being because of too small, then equation becomes 2 Vi upon Ve plus Vi equal to 2k upon k plus 1, as the k equal to Vi upon Ve, that is k. Now, neta P, the maximum of the k equal to 1, that is neta p will be the maximum when the k having the value 1, that is vi upon v equal to 1 or v equal to vi. Then the net and neta p propulsive efficiency equal to 2 into 1 upon 1 plus 1, that is equal to 1, or we can say 100%. This means that the velocity of the jet v2 becomes equal to the flight velocity of the aircraft. This also states that neta p becomes 100%. v equal to vi, and in this case the thrust developed F becomes 0 as per the above equation when k equal to 1 and F equal to 0, and there is no work output from the system. Therefore, it is not practically to maximum propulsive efficiency, and other parameters like thrust must be considered. Thus, the power of the system is given by Pt equal to ma into ve square into k into k. That is, this becomes maximum when by differentiating the equation with respect to k and putting the value k, that value equal to 0, we can get 1 minus 2k equal to 0 and k equal to 0.5, or vi upon v equal to 0.5, or we can say the v equal to twice of vi. In this case, the efficiency becomes the 0.667 or 66.7%, the propulsive efficiency. From the above equation, the point of maximum neta p and the maximum thrust are different. Therefore, the same promises should be made to get the reasonable thrust and good propulsion velocity. The combustion chamber, for that open cycle case, the ma and cpa is the value of the air, mf is the value of the mass flow rate of the fuel. After the combustion, the mass flow rate combined with the mass flow of the air, and that include the mass of the air and mass of the fuel, and the cpa becomes the cpg at gaseous. In an open cycle, fuel is burned in the combustion chamber to provide heat energy and under ideal working conditions. Heat released by burning of the fuel should be exactly equal to the enthalpy rise in the gas, that is mf into m dot f into lcv into neta combined equal to m dot a plus m dot f into cpg into t3 minus of m dot a cpa into t2. Now the steam rate or specific heat consumption of the cycle. It is the mass flow rate of the steam required to produce 1 kilowatt power output, SSC, that is equal to mass m dot s upon p, that is kg per second of kilowatt, power in kilowatt. P equal to mass flow rate ms into w net, ms is kg per second, w net equal to kilojoule per kg. SR equal to, therefore the steam rate equal to 1 by W net, that is the total work done, kg upon kilowatt into second, and SR equal to the 3600 upon W net, that is kg per kilowatt into hour. Advantages of the cycle. First, it provides the better fuel economy and higher thrust. Second, operates most economically over a wide range of speed between the 400 to 800 km per hour, where pure jet engine is uneconomical. Maintenance is easy and lower vibration and noise. Drag is less due to the less frontal area. And lastly, the multi-shaft arrangement allows a greater flexibility of the operation over a wide range. Now the disadvantages. Main disadvantage is lower the propeller efficiency at high speed due to the shock and the flow separation. Second, reduction gear is essential, which increases maintenance cost and loss of energy due to the gear friction. Thank you.